honestly.
I think the thing with Tom Cruise is that he was big in an age where everything he did was in everybody's eyes. So he had that jumping on the couch, crazy man bullshit. Uh, in the height of Oprah Winfrey's height, right? So like every person on the planet knows this guy's nuts.
Yes.
And I think that will hurt him. I don't think people
Oh, it
are
has
going
hurt
to
him.
separate. Yeah, but I mean, in the future, like when you look back at his filmography, people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, sure, he did some great films, but he's never won an Oscar, has he?"
No.
Yeah,
But
he's
I don't
not.
think, again, he's a movie star. Like there's actors and there's movie stars, okay? And I think
Yeah,
he knows what the fuck he is.
yeah,
He's a movie star.
that's
You know
true.
what though? You know what though? It's very interesting that you bring all that up because do you know what the one thing Tom Cruise has never done is
Saturday Night Live.
hosted SNL.
Seriously?
That was
Never
beautiful.
been on SNL.
That
he's
makes
too control
perfect
freak,
sense.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes
Is
perfect
there-
sense. He would never
Is
do
there a
that.
reason why?
No. Oh,
Because he would
no,
never
he'd just
do
never
that.
do that.
No.
No.
That's beneath
He could
him.
never do a he could
Guarantee
no.
you.
I don't
He's
think it's
unscripted. He jumped on a couch and almost killed his career. He cannot be trusted when he doesn't control the situation.
Mhm.
Period.
no, I think he'd be horrible in that kind of situation creative process the even though like when people talk about I forgot what it was so many podcasts I listen to the really randomly good podcasts you could check out I don't even know if it's on anymore but it was really when Barry Katz does a podcast. He was Jay Moore's agent. He's been the agent for a ton of people in Hollywood, and all these people. He has so many stories, and he gets awesome fucking guests.
Yeah, I've actually heard that podcast.
Yeah, like he gets Mark Maron level guests. He'd never get them in terms of Hollywood type stuff.
Yeah,
like he can get some big ass names, but he the pressure cooker that is the Saturday Night Live week and the Tom Cruise, the way he works, even though he can get very intense and demanding, he would never do that in a week. It would just never work with him. And it's
and I don't think he's got that improvisational skill that it would take to really, even for a single week to really do that.
Yeah, no, I would love to go back or find out. Actually, this is a good one to Google if anybody's feeling up to it. If his little performance on Tropic Thunder, if that stuff was improvised or scripted, because I could very much see Tom Cruise, like
I could see him doing that role improvised actually.
See, I could see him doing that over the top. I could see him doing that scripted out.
I was
and planning out every single move he does. Jay Moore talks about this when they were doing Jerry Maguire. That dude is so aware of the way things work on film sets. Like the way when they're doing that restaurant scene when Jay fires him, like Tom was such a gracious actor, but he would be off camera, like giving him little direction to like lean a little bit more this way or do something like that because he could tell where the camera was and where the sight line was going to be and where Jay was sitting in it, and they changed the heights on the two of them so that it's it was more even with the books he was on. It was crazy. And Jay's talking about this, the awareness that dude has. I just don't think he's in the moment person. He's just when you look at the, like you brought it up, Andrew, the Oprah thing.
Yeah, you put him on there and he was out of control.
He bombed. I also remember he was on BET once with Jamie Foxx. And they were talking. I think it was that movie called
Collateral. Yeah.
And he started dancing, and it was so goofy. And this is before memes and stuff. But I remember, at least on BET, and just through my circles, we were watching him kind of dance to 50 Cent, and it was horrible. It was
no, I know the clip. It's out there.
Yeah, you've seen it. He's he's off beat and everything. It's horrible.
It is that's what I'm saying. I am willing to bet you he is one of those people, especially with the whole Scientology thing. He's an actor, and again, we could just fucking look this up. But he is one of those actors that rehearses and rehearses and rehearses. I would be willing to bet he rehearsed the shit out of every scene in Cocktail.
Oh yeah,
a million times. That last bartender poet thing, he did that over and over and over until he knew exactly how he was going to say every single line. But I think Tom Cruise, that's a whole other, that's a show in and of itself.
That is a show.
Someone put that in the notes. quick for show ideas. Just put Tom. Yeah, just put Tom Cruise. I'll know what it means.
A Tommy show.
Yeah. No, but so SNL, yeah, Tom has never done SNL, and they actually made some big announcements over at SNL a little while ago now, and it was the season finale this last weekend. And it was the final episode for Pete Davidson, Kyle Mooney, Baby 80 Bryant, and Kate McKinnon. This is tough for me. This was a tough show to watch. I love Saturday Night. I love Kate McKinnon. My oldest has kind of been raised on Kate McKinnon on Saturday Night Live. Like she loved Ghostbusters. She knows Kate McKinnon. It's one of those like family fun time moments when we just need a laugh. We go on and we throw on the Kate McKinnon Close Encounters sketch from Saturday Night Live. Because it is so goddamn funny. Have you guys seen that? Do you know the sketch I'm talking about? Okay. You just go to YouTube and search Close Encounters. Okay, or search SNL Close Encounters. The first one is Kate McKinnon, Ryan Gosling, and Cecily Strong, and they're the three of them have been abducted by aliens. We've got 80 Bryant and Horatio, and not Horatio Sands. What's his face? He does Panda on We Bare Bears. I forget his name. It was a little rough for us around the house because this was Kate McKinnon's last show, and that sketch. Sorry, back on track. That sketch is it's hilarious, and Ryan Gosling cracks up in the sketch. They've done a whole series of them since where they put the same character in, and this sounds dumb. I don't want to spoil it. Just go look at them because Kate McKinnon's fucking brilliant, and 80 Bryant cracks up, and it just throughout each of them, and they do a bunch. But they opened up the cold open this week was that sketch, and it was this time like the aliens took someone with them, and they took that character. It was fucking hilarious. The rest of the show was really good. She wasn't on it that much. Pete Davidson was here and there. I think he had a bit in Weekend Update.
He did.
I love SNL. It's one of my favorite things. It always has been. It's just like a lot of it, and you can a lot of SNL has informed my sense of comedy, especially that I've watched through years. So this is always one of those interesting ones because you're losing a lot of talent. They have a lot of strong young talent coming up, and it's new. But this is just like when when Andy Samberg and who else? There was an exodus right around then too. Was that also when Tina Fey and what's her bucket? Amy Poehler left?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I honestly haven't watched SNL in so long. I can't tell you when anybody left or anything.
I loved
it. You're right,
and
Pete, though.
The cast is so good right now.
They're in sync.
Yeah, it's just the show's really, really funny. I think it's doing really well, and it's just sad to see a change like this because that does mean next season will be funny, but it's going to be different because you're not going to have those mainstay faces that you're used to going to for like big time laughs. Like you'll still have Keenan, who's great. Like there's a lot of people that are still there that are fucking awesome. But those, like, they were go-to. 80 Bryant is fucking hilarious in everything she does. Kyle Mooney's fucking funny as fuck too. He does that weird, quirky, offbeat dude very, very well, and it works for him. And I'm sad to see him go.
I hear you totally, and on tangent. But how many characters did we see leave? And then we got to see these brand new characters, create something new. I get it. Your daughter's like, oh my God, my Kate's gone. But we're going to get a new Kate. We're going to get a new, Mike Myers. We're going to get somebody totally
I get
different.
it.
It's going to be awesome.
I know. And but this is, I'm in that mourning period. Still,
You're allowed.
I'm still kind of, it's one Saturday. I have until the new season starts to sit Shiva every Saturday night. we'll be doing this show, or I'll be watching Saturday Night Live, and that'll be the way it goes. And I will miss them, but things change, things move on, things go different ways. With that, welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I am your host tonight, Pete, and I am joined, as always, by Kevin.
Hello.
Andy.
What's up?
And, of course, Andrew.
Salutations, everyone.
That was very.
I love that. That was so blurred. I can't even tell you, because you're like salutations with the wink, and it's like smooth as fuck, but still like he said salutations.
That's not what they said in Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I love that. See, with kids, without kids.
Right? Yeah. Hey, dude. That movie came out when we were kids. So.
Oh yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, I got to watch both versions of that, the live action and the animated original, obviously, version recently, because just last year during COVID, Stella had those. That was one of the books they were, not this fourth grade, when she was in third grade. It was one of the books they read in school that year. So we of course had to watch those movies. And man, the cartoon still holds up. The live action was just not good.
Well, why would you? And who the fuck wants to see a spider on your TV for an hour and a half? I'll throw my goddamn shoe at the television.
Oh yeah. It was not sorry, television.
But like, yeah, fuck them. I hate spiders. I don't need a movie about them. Cartoon spider's fine. She has those big dewy eyes, and you're kind of like, hey, Charlotte, you're cute.
Yes.
You know? But I don't need a live action. That's garbage.
That's how you really feel.
I know.
No,
I'm usually so subdued about how I feel about things.
My daughter, it's one of those things that is kind of cool about having kids. You always have an audience when you need a laugh, especially with like a little daughter, because no matter how stupid it is or how bad the impression is, they always find it hilarious and wonderful. Like, my daughter thinks my Templeton the Rat impression is wonderful. And I'm like,
no, she's wrong.
Exactly. And I know that, but she loves it. She loves it. We'd sit there and watch it. Fair is a veritable smorgasbord. Like that.
Always think of that song still to this day. That song comes into my head out of nowhere. Yep.
That was classic. Oh my God.
Yep.
But yeah, like if you haven't figured out from our Charlotte's Web Talk, we're a pop culture centered podcast focusing mainly on streaming movies and television from this century. It's odd that I can say that, especially we're 22 years into it. Good Lord, that's a lot. Yeah,
almost a quarter of the way, dude.
it's motherfuckers flying by. So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that Jackass 4.5 was released on Netflix, because I believe Jackass 4 is already on Paramount. Or it's on it's on one of the streaming services to watch already.
Is 4.5 the series, the new series?
No. So what they've done is, for all the Jackass movies, they have released a 0.5. That's always been it might be in theaters, but it'll be like a super limited engagement most of the time, especially because a lot of them came out in or they were kind of put together during the streaming era, so it worked. They've mostly really been a lot of leftover footage that got cut that wasn't working. So it's been fun, and they have done some behind the scenes stuff. But in this one, there was a ton of like, okay, we did, stuff you didn't see, behind the scenes stuff. But there was also a lot of like sit down and talk to the people kind of stuff. But it was good. Like you could tell they like did have to, with some of the guys, they did have to mine for some good stuff. You could kind of tell. But it was neat. It was definitely, I mean, I talked about it on the show ad fucking nauseum. I loved Jackass 4. It was just a really cool kind of thing to see. And this Jackass 4.5 was really neat to see, because there's a prank they didn't show you in the, I believe it wasn't in the movie, but because it is in the time of COVID, they have like the whole cast is gathered around a fucking table, like socially distanced underneath a tent, and they're all sitting in chairs, and there's like a little bottle of hand sanitizer and a booklet at each one of these. Like they make it's like straight Jackass style. They make it like perfect, and they all go and sit down, and they think they're getting a COVID-19 like, you know, safety speech from the safety officers and that, and boom, like you hear a pop, and a fucking bouncy house is inflating underneath the table and has exploded out and has like kicked people out from their fucking chairs, and it's fucking just insane Jackass fun. So yeah, if you watched 4 like I did with love, you should definitely watch 4.5. There's fun behind the scenes look, and everything that I said about it, except possibly there being a new Jackass, but they did bring on, you know, it was fun to watch some of the new blood come on, these new people that are on the show, or on the movie, in the movies now. But it was neat to really get it. You got a good behind the scenes look at it. It was funny. Definitely worth it. So that's yeah, that was kind of like my big watch for the week. I've got other stuff I watch, but we'll get to all that later. Andrew, I hear you watch something on Netflix as well.
I did. So I like Netflix for one reason or other, and one of them is we talked a bit about lanes, right? And I obviously like a lot of things, but I think of the 4 of us, I'm definitely more into that anime thing a little more than the rest of you. So I decided to watch a show called Blood of Zeus. And I would see it in the interstitials. And basically it's like this anime that deals with like Greek gods and myths. And what is so funny, Pete? I just gotta ask.
You can get Blood of Zeus at a gas station if you can't get real boner pills.
Hilarious. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm just gonna keep going with it, and I'll maybe.
That was way funnier in my head than it was in real life.
No, it was pretty funny, but it was probably a joke because I was just anyway.
I like that you said it was probably a joke,
yes,
as if to emphasize that it did not land.
You're learning a bit about me. I'm pretty like sincere, so it's like you can say shit to me, and I'll actually wonder, are you serious? Like.
No,
anyway.
oh no. That was what we in the biz like to call a bomb.
Hey, somebody laughed out there in podcast land. Let us know if you laughed. Seriously.
No, they didn't. Trust me, they didn't.
Yeah, they probably turned it off.
Yeah, basically.
So like that was the last straw.
So what I liked about Blood of Zeus is, first of all, it's anime, so it's obviously got really gorgeous artwork. This is the same group that did Castlevania. This is definitely not a cartoon that you should have your kids watch. There is blood, guts, and gore. The score of this film is
hold on. No question. Now, when you say blood, guts, and gore, because see, this is where it gets interesting. You are into anime more than I am, from like, again, I'll say it, like this century or early this century, because I love, like, if you go back to that late 90s, early 2000s, there's a lot of stuff back there from that age of anime that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But that like today I just haven't echoed with. Anyway, God damn it.
No, it's fine, because I think even the 80s stuff was pretty gory too.
That's what it was. How gory is it? Like compare. I mean, are we talking like? Is it just like?
I still think the Fist of the North Star.
Compared to that,
like that's still like next level. Like, I think that was like they were trying to shock us there. I don't think it's that bad.
Okay, hold on. Okay, tangent. And I'll put it in.
Or Elfin Lied. Holy shit, that is some crazy stuff. I mean, if you guys want to see some like.
Okay.
Objectionable shit. Elfin Lied. Keep going.
Well, like, okay, so that is Fist of the North Star was one of my absolute favorites from that time period. Now, whose was your favorite power? But let's just call it power, like style or mode.
Well, here's where I get kind of called out, because like I only saw it once, so my memory of like the I just remember watching it. I actually watched it recently, like maybe within the last 2 years, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is bad. Like it's really gory. Like holy
Yeah. Oh,
crap.
fuck yeah.
It's actually kind of disturbing. So, but I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna reel back in because I think she'll have 4 minutes for me to talk about this. So back to God.
Answer the question, Andrew.
Clues.
Complete
No.
the tangent.
Blues
of
Clues?
Zeus. Blood Zeus. Dude, what's wrong with me? Blood Zeus. Okay. So
Blues Clues. What?
basically it takes
Steve came
place
back. That was so
in
good.
ancient, like whatever, Greece probably. Like Zeus is of course a god. He basically gets with, a mortal woman and has an affair. And this woman happens to be like the wife of like a king. And this king gets really mad because like she has 2 kids and like one of the kids is like his kid and the other kid of course is the kid of Zeus, and all shit like goes hell from there. Okay.
Isn't that the story of Hercules?
You mean, funny you say that. Demigods. This whole show is about demigods, people who are half god, half mortal. So
Percy Jackson, the anime. Woo!
but even better. And basically all I'll say is this. If you like great visuals, again, seeing great battles between these crazy Titan looking monsters with like tentacles and shit who like can fuck things up, and you like learning about, oh, by the way, one thing I loved about it as well, I feel like DC is basically just modern day mythology, more so than even Marvel, because it's like you've got Hermes or Mercury, but they call him Hermes, who is basically the Flash. You've got like Ares, who's an asshole god of war. I don't know what he is, but like it's like you see these people fighting and flying and all that shit, and you're like, wow, this is like superhero shit, And of course, Heron, who is basically just made up for this show, is the son of Zeus. He's the reason why it's called Blood of Zeus. And yep, totally, dude. Like that's another show idea, and you guys have no idea what I responded to, but I'm horrible at playing things off. Anyway,
oh, no, that's the tangent list.
I'm just, what, I feel like I'm just babbling right now, but hopefully my enthusiasm for the show. A couple things. Another thing I'll say. I know people say Rotten Tomatoes sucks, whatever, right? But 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for the critics, and I think 88% audience. Right? Okay. And they are going to do a season 2. They've got, I think, 5 seasons mapped out. Many more seasons coming up. I had this whole eloquent thing I was going to say. Last thing I'll say is this. Okay, when it comes to things that I like, what I like, okay, is I want to see something that makes me go, wow, I haven't seen that before. Are there story elements that made me go, oh, I've seen that before? Yes. As a matter of fact, there was one particular scene that was like, that was totally Empire Strikes Back. Come on now, And then at the end of the series, I'm like, okay, this is getting a bit color by numbers. So last thing I'll say before I pass the mic is that one of the reasons why I didn't like The Batman is by the 3rd act, I felt like, okay, we've seen this before. All hell's breaking loose, and now this hero's got to save the city. Okay, done. Wash, rinse, repeat. Okay, but everything else before that I hadn't really seen. So it's like that's what I'm into, and I think Blood of Zeus is going to give you some things that you frankly have not seen before, and it's cool. So I highly recommend it, and I'm going to watch for the next anime probably Pacific Rim. There's an anime thing for Pacific Rim, and
you haven't watched that?
Not yet. Is good. Did you watch it?
Yeah, it's cool.
I'll talk about it.
You're gonna like it. It'll be
Right,
fun
cool.
to talk about. You're gonna like it. Yeah, I actually watched it because I'm one of the few people on the planet that actually really liked the Pacific Rim movie.
Oh, I enjoyed the first movie.
The second one, look, the second one was a bad sequel, but it wasn't that bad. Like I liked what they tried to do with it. I feel like for that second one they just didn't go far enough. Like they didn't lean into what it was they were trying to accomplish as hard as they should have. Like it never really got there. Like, and then the Charlie Day thing just got way overboard with the whole mind meld thing. Anyway, okay, so Blood of Zeus. That sounds interesting. I might check that out. I remember watching the preview for it on Netflix because I do like the anime style of stuff. I've been looking to see something that I can really latch onto. Like because I tried watching My Hero Academia because that was a real big one that people like, and it was like, like it didn't resonate with me. I wasn't entertained.
My kids like it, but it's that more kind of kiddish animation style, isn't it?
Can I say something? Okay, actually, and that's the other thing. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of anime now it deals with subject matter that is so, to me, mundane. I don't want the mundane.
Yeah.
I want the fantastical. I want some mind-blowing shit. But the fact of the matter is, there is a market and there are people out there who want some mundane shit. Like someone was saying, you should watch Raising Anna or whatever the fuck it's called. The one about that, you know, the curly-haired Ruth Langmore as a con artist. And I'm like, someone else says it, do not watch that shit. It's like, so it's by the person who did Grey's Anatomy. It's so lame. It's so,
yeah, I
it's
know what
like,
you're talking
you know,
about.
so it's like, and I was like, thank you for saving my life. Like, I'm not into that. Okay. But that said, anime, the majority of it, the explosion is because it's no longer about robots and like Attack on Titan. I mean, that is some weird ass shit. Okay. But My Hero Academia.
But that's the outlier now.
Exactly.
It's switched the other direction, and this is why.
Yeah.
And this is what has happened.
It's mainstream. That's why.
And it's mainstream, and the audience that you're trying to land is the biggest audience, and that's kids.
Yes. Exactly.
And so it's not the same as it was. Like when we had Ninja Scroll, when we had Robotech, when we had, you know, we had different stuff. Even as a kid, Robotech was far more adult than the kids' cartoons that they have today. Even Transformers. I mean, you know, people are going to die on those shows. You know,
Add it to the list. Robotech. No, go ahead, Kevin. Keep saying what you're saying.
Sorry. No, just exactly that. Because when we were young, it was still a niche thing. So it was kind of the best of that niche, and now it's a genre. It's a thing that everybody makes, and it even gets made by American companies, and you get American anime, and you get all this stuff, and it's not the same thing. There are still people doing the same thing that they used to, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I think so much of it, because anime influenced so much and it has become such a seller, that style has just leaked its way into so much animation right now, and it has created its own, like, then kind of off branches from there that are very Americanized. But Japanese anime has always been an art form that was taken super seriously in Japan, versus the United States. That was always, you know, I mean, there you go back though, and again, I'll speak just from the 90s where I was, but Wings of Haname's, Akira, A Wind Called Amnesia. These were incredibly deep philosophical, like, you know, wrestling with some interesting life issues, Akira, you know, fucking movies. And
Ghost in the Shell anime.
Exactly. Studio Ghibli.
I think you just said it. I got to jump in. I can't stand Ghibli or whatever the fuck. I know, and I can't stand it. Okay, and I know people, like, I just lost like hella people for just that statement alone. But I gotta represent, like, people like that shit, like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke.
But
and all that
for
shit.
me, that's a different thing. That is specifically a family genre, and even though it came from Japan, to me, I don't really see that as anime. I love you.
Like, I love you.
I know what you're saying.
Because I talk about anime. I like anime. I like Spirited Away. And I'm like, oh God. You know, so it's like, thank you. I'm on that camp too.
But some of those are beautiful movies. There's my friend Julie.
My Neighbor Totoro is...
No, there's one called Wolf Children.
Yes. No,
fucking fantastic as a story.
Princess Mononoke?
No. It's called Wolf Children. It's about this woman who's, like, she's raising her kids, and they it's been so long since I've watched it now. I believe that they turn into wolves, not like werewolves, but they literally turn into wolves. And it's a very sweet family film, and because it came out of Japan, it was animated in a very Japanese style. It is not what I consider anime. For me, anime is still, for lack of a better word, a little angrier, a little darker, a little, you know, more even violent, like, in a way. You know, there's a difference, and it's not that the stories, the Studio Ghibli stories and the things like that, the stories there are actually very, very good stories. The Japanese still tell, in my opinion, better animated stories than a lot of American animation do, even for the kids.
Yes.
But I get if you don't like the style, like for me, I put the Ghibli stuff on this side and I can watch that, and that stuff's good. And I put adult anime on this side, stuff like Attack on Titan and this other stuff on the side. It's the stuff in the middle that I don't like the Full Metal Alchemist, the the My Hero Academia, that stuff, Dragon Ball, anything that's like so cartoony and so over the top.
Thank you.
Like I can't do it.
I think again, see, some of that though also has the built-in fan base from the manga. I watched Dragon Ball only because I kind of became completionist about the thing, so I had to watch Dragon Ball. I loved, even though it was so long and super formulaic, I loved the Dragon Ball Z series and all that, and then Dragon Ball Super. I really, really enjoyed that. But I get what you're saying. I just think it's so in there now, though, that anime is just so into everything, and it's been there for a while.
Yeah,
it's just it's the prevailing animation style now, whether it's American or not. It's that style has become,
I think,
kind of the way.
and Yu-Gi-Oh were probably the two, and DBZ that started the mainstream movement.
Oh, but that was the thing though. It wasn't just that. There's Beyblade, there's Digimon, there's
Pokemon,
there's all these Pokemon, like there's all, but that's what I'm saying. That anime, that's where they got them. The kids ones hit them young. And so you have 2 to 3 generations of kids now, almost in some ways, that are coming up with Pokemon. So
shall we?
Damn it, I was just trying to text you, but I couldn't get it out. I had a fun transitional way to get us into the next one, because we're trying to be a more polished, more together, organized show.
It's like polishing a turd. You get what you get.
Pretty fucking much. So what I was going to do to transition into you and Andy and Andrew, the Andrews sisters, talking about fucking Top Gun Maverick, was I was going to say one of the first movies I've ever watched in the theater that I can remember was Transformers, the animated film. And you got to go back even that far, and you already had an anime tinge and feel to that in the style and pacing of of a lot of that animation, especially in that first good half hour or so of that, the battle,
Yes,
very much. And it was amazing.
Yes.
And that also reminds me of one of the first movies I ever saw in the theater when I was 10 years old. Like, I remember being dropped off with a couple of my friends, and we saw Tom Cruise in all his glory, and
he was naked.
Oh yeah, we saw the special version.
That was all the right moves, actually. I feel horrible for even knowing that.
Actually,
keep going.
Side tangent in Far and Away, the scene when she lifts up the bowl. When he's laying there, he's knocked out on the bed, and she lifts up the bowl to look at his dong, and the look on her face is genuine, because he was supposed to be covered under there, and he wasn't. So when she lifted it up, the scene that they kept, she lifts up the bowl and actually sees her future python.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah. I bring the good info. What can I do?
No, there's
very specific, Kevin.
One of my favorite stories that Chris Pratt ever tells is he loved to show his junk on that show on Parks and Rec all the time. Like they finally had to tell him to stop. Not because anybody was offended, but they just kept getting worried that people were going to get offended. Anyway, so I'm transitioning here. Well, in the show,
the hormones are working. It looks good.
Ham-fistedly, into Andrew. You guys saw it. What is it now? 35 years later.
36.
Plus 3 years of that has been on the shelf because of COVID, which is ballsy.
Yeah.
That's some gangster shit. Nobody has kept anything shelved that long.
I mean, if it was in the can, it really wasn't that bad of a move, right? Like,
no,
obviously.
That's right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's made a fucking ass fuck ton of money.
Yes.
At this point,
it's supposed to finish at 150 million, I think, this weekend. Was the last?
I saw 123, but either way.
But the weekend's not over. That's the thing.
Correct.
So
yeah, it's I'm probably going to see it Monday, but Andrew, please.
Andy, you take this.
Take it away. Tell me. I gotta.
Well, I'll start.
Know.
And don't leave out any details about Jennifer Connelly. Thank you.
Yeah, at all. Yeah. And don't worry. You know what? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, fucking spoilers. Okay, if you didn't see
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie fucking opening weekend or like in this first thing, and you're listening, because you'll listen to this, well, it'll come out. I don't know when you're listening to it, but you've had half a week plus the weekend to see it. You know as well as I do. If you didn't see fucking Top Gun on opening weekend, you're not going to see it in the theater. Bite me. So spoilers.
Here's the deal. There's not that many spoilers because it is a formulaic movie. If you don't think it's A B A, you know, it's a typical jazz song. And it was fantastic. I enjoyed it from start to finish.
Now, did you have to see the first one to get the second one?
No, you didn't. But it wouldn't hurt actually if you saw it. Because
I think it enhances the experience personally. But
yes.
Keep going.
But if you're on rusty memories, is that? I mean, I've seen it in the last 5 years, but before that, had been a very long time.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
It's good enough. I did watch Top Gun on Thursday before I saw Maverick on Thursday night, and it was nice. But I say that on purpose because I remember Top Gun as just a fantastic movie. I loved start to finish, and as I said today, Andy, in our banter on Facebook, you know, when I watched Top Gun, I fast forwarded probably at least 20 minutes of that movie, maybe more.
There's a lot of slow parts in that movie.
Like what?
Totally. When he's
the whole love scene thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was.
So I know we were talking about Top Gun in pre-show, and I meant to bring this up when we were talking about it, and we were talking about it now. So that, Andrew, like you were talking about how it was a little uncomfortable and weird to watch with your parents. I'm sorry, to this day, I am conditioned. I cannot hear "Take My Breath Away" without getting slightly chub. Like I'm instantly kind of aroused, and it just because it was one of those. It was one of. I mean, it's not even that great a love scene, but dude, the love scene, the way they filmed it.
For me, I never got anything out of that scene.
No, it was the whole. It was it was very artistic. Like I'm saying, like it wasn't like a titillating love scene, especially by today's standards, in any way, shape, or form. But the way they did it with the fucking wispy,
but like
you see slow, like boom, like there's some like rocking,
but that song
happening.
That song was so gangster ass 80s, and it just that Berlin song, like you hear just from that, you're like,
But like to Andy's point, it was the things like that, the stuff that was like overly artistic. Right, that's beautiful. The things that made the original, like that they tried to do artistically in the original, are the things that kind of don't hold up anymore. Yeah. Like if you go back to watch Top Gun right now, you want to watch, Maverick be Maverick. You want to see him fucking flying.
Exactly. I want to see hear the lines.
Kick the bucket, and then you want to more planes. Like like it's
100%. And that was the problem, is that I remember Top Gun more as an action movie, but it really is more of a love story than it is an airplane movie.
Yep.
Correct.
And that was fine. And that was 86. That was the sign of the times. I mean,
exactly.
You didn't have the budgets you didn't have the ability to film action like you do today.
But I can't imagine what the real budget was for that movie. Like, how do you get, like, hey, can we borrow your F-15 for a while?
Well, you know what? I actually read.
I'm sure it was a bunch of stock footage and stuff.
According to Wikipedia, they made it for $15 million. Okay. And the gross, but I think the gross includes the re-release now. Like in 2012, I think was for IMAX, $357 million.
Not surprised.
Look at that profit margin.
Yeah.
So even if they made like $200 million off of that $15 million investment, you can see why Tom Cruise at that point, like, he was gold to the studios. Gold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he has been making money and fucking paying the Church of Scientology. Like he probably just signs over his residuals to the Church of Scientology for Top Gun, and that's like his dues or whatever you have to do to pay them.
January residuals.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking ridiculous.
No, he makes enough money to solve our debt problem. He gets spark our economy all by himself. Yeah.
All right, here we go. I want to spoil it, fuckers. I want. Give me a plot synopsis. Let's go. Break this shit down. The two of you have fun. Fuck me. Let's go.
All right. So Andrew, tell me how far off I am. There's a problem. It's a Vanilla and Ice song, really. There's a problem. Tom Cruise solves it. They, get into 5.0 and they resolve it. I mean, it's really that simple, right? They got a target they have to.
Okay, I know, but there's
right. Now I want to jump in. Okay, so
there's subplot with Miles Teller being
layers.
Goose's son, right?
Yeah,
like come on.
I'm all about the layers. Okay, so let's go back to that first film. Okay, so the first film to me, just jump into it. Okay, so I was too young. Okay, so that film to me was about a couple things. It's definitely some alpha dog bullshit. Like, okay, I'm the man. No, you're the man. I'm a man. No,
sure.
It's alpha dog shit, right? Then it's like Maverick, like trying to be a player, right? So he literally tries to like get this girl the first time. She like disses him. You know, he bombs in the bathroom. Then he sees her. She's the instructor, but then he realizes like she's like, I'm totally into you after they had that little spat, whatever, in the classroom.
Hearts are breaking all over the world tonight, sweetheart.
What I'm realizing is that this is like a total instruction manual on seduction, because he literally, every time she thinks it's going down, he's like, I gotta go. Like he's like, I gotta take a shower. He's like, no, we gotta eat. And then they finish eating. She's like, I'm gonna have to take a shower now. She's like, cool. And he like leaves. Then elevator, same thing. Point is, this whole movie, besides the plane shit, is about him like kind of coming to terms with the whole alpha shit. It's about him like getting the girl. It's about him also coming to terms with the guilt of, you know, Goose dying on him, and he lets go. That's basically the thing of the first film. This film now,
you're sure you don't smoke weed?
This film now, yes, this film now, because this is all SN type shit, basically what I'm describing. I'm describing the themes, and I didn't get to the homoerotic shit, because that's a whole other thing. That, like, what's his name?
That's not. Oh my god!
It's not a thing. I'm telling you right now, it's not a thing.
It's not a fucking thing. It's such a fun joke that people have taken as like a thing.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it became a thing, and it's not.
It's not a thing.
It is and this is because you have to take it out of context. When you go back to the 80s, that is at that moment, that was the pinnacle of what it looked like to be cool. Yeah. At that point, that movie in so many ways defined film to a certain point in the 80s.
It was very influential and iconic. At Iron Eagle, like it's so many things.
Any other airplane movie, Iron Eagle, Airwolf,
yes,
tried to be Top Gun.
Airwolf was a TV show and it was about a helicopter.
No, there's also
not even close.
Blue Thunder. Anyway,
Blue Thunder is the movie. Yeah, there you go.
But so basically, there's a couple things. So basically, this film I don't think is necessarily trying to be like another Top Gun. It's like a bookend to the first film, okay? Because basically the whole thing is like Maverick realizes there's drones out there that could be replacing pilots, okay? So that's one thing he has to reckon with, okay? Then it's like you're called back, you got to like teach these people whatever. Goose's son is there. There's some beef between the two, and there's legitimate beef. Eventually, of course, they resolve that shit. But I'll just say that Iceman, okay, is like legitimately a high-ranking officer now. Admiral, who literally is like kind of almost like a I wouldn't say a mentor, but definitely kind of like almost like a big brother in a way to like Tom. And they have a great moment. They really fucking do. And I think that actually that scene that they have is like probably one of the best parts of the movie, straight up, in my opinion. Okay. Then you got
Val never talks.
Well, he really lobbied for
to get
Val Kilmer to be in this. And there's so I haven't watched it yet, and I'm so mad at myself. There's an awesome documentary. You know what I'm talking about. The Val Kilmer documentary on fucking that's not worth a tangent. Go ahead.
Yeah, so continue. So Jennifer Connelly, okay? So that's the other thing. Like Maverick is player, okay? Playa, okay? And it's even implied that he was smashing like back in the day, broke her heart, okay? So she's like, fuck you, you know, but he's like, you know what? I'm now older and I'm more mature. Can you give me more chance? Like that's kind of like what's happening there. And basically I think Miles Teller as like Goose's son kind of nails it. I actually buy him as Goose's son.
I actually got that from the trailers too. Just looking at him. Yeah.
Definitely the back half of the movie, okay? Where this movie triumphs, and to your point, Kevin, is there's way better technology and production values. It's still all practical. It's still all real footage.
That's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
But the fight shit is like next level. It's like way better than the first one, in my opinion. I know Andrew's like saying something different. Oh, you're saying
he's agreeing with you. He's agreeing with you.
Yeah. 1,000,000% agree with you. The fight scenes I don't.
Scene.
I dare you to find something better. The real life footage that was filmed and edited and portrayed in this movie is it can't be beat. I can't think of a movie.
Hold on. Did you say fight scene? Singular?
Okay. So there is okay. There's lots of aerial scenes. Okay, but I would say there is a extended fight scene, and I'll even say this to not completely ruin surprise. There's even, I'll just say, a Millennium Falcon-esque moment. And I think Andrew knows what I'm talking about. Yes, exactly. He knows. There's a Millennium Falcon-esque moment. Getting chills. So to me, it's like, and there's so many places where like I was ready. I was like, okay, yeah, this is it. Tom's fucking dead. Like I was just like, and it's okay because you gotta pass the baton. I'm not saying he lives or dies or whatever, but you can probably figure it out. But it's like it would have made sense if they killed his ass in those particular scenes.
Right.
Or
okay.
Whatever. Like so it's like it kept, that's why I call it an 80s film with some Mission Impossible-esque shit, because it's like you never see like in the first film real peril. Like not besides the dog fighting. In this movie, there is some real peril. That's why I also like there's some real shit that goes down where I'm like, wow, they fucking made it. Like,
yeah, I think that the peril in the first movie was more implied, and it was more about the Cold War anyways than it was about actual like air battle at that time. Everything that happened in the first one, other than like the one scene where they're shooting at each other, was really about like crossing into each other's airspace.
And I want to say one more thing really quick, and then I'm going to pass it to Andy. I know there's a critique from people saying there's no like it's a cop out to not name who the enemy is, but I think it's actually better, because I think that way it's like, no, this is actually plausible shit. We have to keep it vague, you know, so that way it's more, it's not, because it doesn't become dated, you know, because the fact of the matter is this kind of shit can't happen, because even in the first movie, it's like, we denied it happened. Like, so the public never even really knew it occurred, you know? And I think in this film, it's kind of the same shit. It's just some Rogue Nation shit. Wow, that's some Mission Impossible shit right there. Rogue Nation has some like stuff going on. And now I'm passing the baton to my boy, Andy.
Before Andy starts, sorry, I'm gonna have to jump in with a quick tangent on that one. I know, I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Andy, because something you just said actually reminded me of in the 80s, another genre-defining kind of movie like this that I think is on par with it, and that's Red Dawn. And that we could do its own episode. I'm not saying we have to go on there, but that was one of the big missteps in the remake, is that they didn't want to piss off China. Originally, it was supposed to be China, which made sense from mainland U.S. invasion, and they switched it to North Korea, and it became very stupid at that point.
Well, I think there's a lot more about the remake that was stupid besides it being North Korea.
But I didn't buy North Korea doing it. Just troop volume wise, it's just not plausible.
Well, wasn't it in like Colorado too? Like North Korea had to fly like 1,000 miles into American airspace before they could.
It was so bad, you know. And that is I'm going to add that to the list while Andy gets to talk finally about that. Sorry.
So here's the deal. I like Maverick a lot. The fight scenes were incredible. Super big fan of that. It felt like an 80s movie, like wedged into a 2000s, you know, or whatever we're in now movie, which was fine. It was hard for me because I was walking in there looking for, I mean, the closest movie I could compare it to is like Behind Enemy Lines, right? That kind of aeronautical, fast-paced action movie. And it wasn't that. It was an AABA. It was a here's what we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna back that up. Here's the problem that we're gonna have, and here's what we're gonna solve it. And it was fine. I enjoyed it, but it was not what I'm used to. I won't say what I was expecting. What I'm used to. I'm 100% glad I saw it in the theater. I would recommend it to see in a Dolby theater, so you really get the surround sound that's required for it. And I would see it again in the theater with my kids. I went with myself on Thursday night.
I want to say go.
No, go.
Yeah, I want to say as well, what I also liked about the movie is I feel like it was almost like what Marvel Studios has done, I think, has taken the best of what's come before it and incorporated those things into its own comic book formula. Like it takes different genres. And I feel like Top Gun was some of its more kind of funny moments. It was almost like here we're the granddaddy. Like we're doing what Marvel Studios did or is doing, but we did it first. And we're just here to just kind of like show you guys we still got it. Like we can still make a big popcorn blockbuster that's got feel good shit that is somewhat formulaic, like more formulaic than I think new Marvel is. Old Marvel was pretty formulaic. Like the Avengers film was formulaic, the first one. So I just like it. I root for
Yeah, but that
who,
Avengers film had to be formulaic.
I'm not saying I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. What I'm saying is like I'm all about like I love cheering on old school motherfuckers.
2 points for Andrew. Well done. Avoided the tangent.
I'm old school, okay? I love cheering on old school motherfuckers who can still hang with the new school. And I feel like that's what this movie is. We can still hang with you, Marvel Studios, even though we came way before you. And Jennifer Connelly, I'm from the 80s, but I am still fucking hot. Like she is, you know? So it's like, I feel this movie is all about celebrating, like living in the moment, being awesome, and healing old wounds. And
America,
and
fuck yeah.
And America, fuck yeah. Let's not lie. Absolutely America.
This movie, I got from the beginning that this movie, no matter how they did it, was going to be fucking star-spangled awesome. Like they're,
but it's
like,
not like, but it's not, you don't see flags everywhere. And I
No.
gotta give props to John Hamm, by the way. I hope John Hamm does end up becoming what's his name, Invincible or Superman, Omni-Man. I'm sorry, I feel like he made a good Omni-Man. I'm sorry, even his voice was a little bit like the guy from J.K. Simmons. Anyway, that was a tangent. I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. Love the movie. Go see it. That's all I got.
So I will tell you
one more thing. And even the opening of the day of movie was like it completely mirrored the first movie, dude. Everything,
That's good.
So
everything,
I can deal with that.
even the
So
logo, dude. Everything.
But did it have the music?
And then like
Yes, it did.
Excellent.
It was 100%.
everything, dude. It was
okay, then I'm
amazing.
in. Okay, you
Yeah, I
just,
need that.
honestly,
I
you
need
said
that.
that. I'm fucking
I'm
in.
still not gonna go see it in the theater, but I will be excited for that when it drops on streaming somewhere. As soon as I don't have to pay for it, I'm watching it.
It was good. My ticket cost 20.
If only you guys could see the texts that we send each other. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Sorry, that was
Why
purely
am
for
I
me.
the only one gets muted? So as much as I love the real the sequences where we're filming planes in the air, like real life stuff, I unfortunately rewatched the prequels for Star Wars this week as well, and prepping for Obi-Wan, because I was like, how Disney has the timeline order for Marvel, they also have the timeline order for Star Wars, and I was gonna I'm gonna start episode 1, and I'm gonna watch the cartoons. I'm gonna just do the whole thing.
That's a lot of work, dude. I did it with my son before.
I would like to take a moment, and this will become clear later in the show. Andy, that was a beautiful segue. Thank you very much. That was good. Well done.
Like
See
what happens when you don't let Pete do it. It works.
See, that was very well done. All right, continue on.
Appreciate that. Yes, I will continue. And I watched the first. What's the first one?
Phantom Menace.
Phantom
Menace. Yeah, so I'm in the middle of Phantom Menace, and I remember I was watching. I'm like, I'm looking at the characters on the screen, and I'm like, I don't even think they're standing on that colored ground. Like, I felt like the whole scene, except for the characters, was green screen. Like there was not one
because it
real
was
aspect. Well, I agree with you. And then all I could see then after that point, and halfway through Phantom Menace, all I could see was green screen. I couldn't see it. I stopped enjoying the movie because all I was looking like, well, what's real? And I'm trying just to find real objects, potential real objects in the show. And the prequels are so bad. They're so bad. They're not well shot. They're not even that well acted. I mean, some acting is okay, but I mean, Hayden Christensen, sorry, dude. That
He's
was
bad.
horrible.
He's bad.
Horrible.
Wait. You don't even
Okay.
like Sith, man? Because I feel
Okay.
like because of Obi-Wan,
No.
like he's so memeable though, and I just feel
No,
like
dude,
I don't know.
he was never good. The problem is if you watch people that were there when they were filming the original trilogy, they talk about how brilliant George Lucas was by mirroring and blending all these different things that he loved. He loved hot rods, so the Millennium Falcon and all these other ships were the hot rods, and
Yes.
the Imperial starships.
That's where
were
the
like
pod
the
racing
planes
came from.
dude. But it wasn't like he had all these brilliant ideas that worked in the 70s and the early 80s, and then when you gave him time to think about them and then the money and the budget, it all became about the spectacle instead of like the creativity. And then on top of that, he's never been a particularly good writer.
No.
So when you started letting him write
No.
romance, you shot yourself in the face. Like episode 2, fuck, the only way that movie is good is if you take out every single romance scene. If you watch that movie without any of the romantic dialogue, it's actually kind of good. But you literally have to take out an entire set of dialogue to make it work.
So I too am getting ready. We're not going to do a complete watch through of all the property, but I am getting ready to with my daughters, especially Stella, because I'm realizing now she's kind of seen them, but she was so young that she really hasn't seen them. So it's time. She's 10 now, so it's time to kind of go on and show these to her in order. And we're gonna do, we're gonna do the standard fucking Rogue One, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. Order.
The way we
standard.
watch them.
Well, no, that's the way you should watch them.
Well, it's the way
That's the
were
recommended order
introduced
because
them.
it gives you the flashback before Vader's Vader, right?
Exactly, and that's because it doesn't kill that. Because if you watch it chronologically, then that reveal isn't there, and that's part of one of the fun things about the movie. And I know somewhere in my daughter's head, because she's seen enough shit, she knows who Darth Vader is, and she knows Anakin and all that. But all this was kind of brought about because it's finally come, something every Star Wars nerd has been clamoring for since they announced they were doing TV stuff. Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi dropped 2 episodes. I'm gonna just throw mine out there real quick and then let you guys discuss, because I fucking loved it. I loved it as much as I loved The Mandalorian. That first season of The Mandalorian, easily. Like different stories completely. But I thought it was fucking great from beginning to end. I loved how they just open up and it's like, boom, here's some shit from the prequels. Here's some highlights, so you know everything you need to know legitimately to get to this point.
Yeah.
Brilliant little bit of storytelling.
Amazing.
There. Just
Yeah.
perfect.
We actually watched that even though we have seen all that shit 1,000 times.
Same.
Exactly. The bit with the younglings coming out, like when it opens up, you had that one Jedi, and then they go. One of the complaints I heard from some people, especially if you watched any blog stuff, was like the character design for the Inquisitors,
because they're not the same as the video game and the animation and the cartoon
from Rebels. No, yes,
but like you can't
no.
do that head shape without looking
exactly. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think they were very good. Adaptations. This is the same people that were bitching about Cad Bane. It was like, fuck off. It's a cartoon.
Cad Bane was pretty fucking close to perfect. If you were bitching about Cad Bane, you're a dick.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like these Inquisitors were great. I enjoyed it. Yeah. I thought they stepped out of the cartoon incredibly well. Kevin, since you haven't finished, you said you haven't finished episode 2 yet.
I have not finished episode 2 yet.
Okay, I want to keep that spoiler free then, because
don't worry about that, because I'm not too worried about that. But
the story that they're telling is great. I love how they're toggling back and forth, and they bring Obi-Wan out. He's going after little Leia, and she's a fucking firecracker. That little actress is the shit.
Carrie, like she's Carrie Fisher. Like it's a pretty amazing what I imagine.
I love the fucking total fan service. Like I was explaining to my wife when I was watching it, because she was like, "What's the big deal?" Because she loves the Star Wars movies. and she's watched them with me, but like she's more into the Marvel. Like she remembers all the backstory from that, and there's so much other Star Wars nerd shit that I've assaulted her with over the years that I think a lot of it just gums up her brain when we're talking about it. But she, you know, like the little fucking fighter toilet that or toy that that Obi-Wan was trying to give Luke was the same one he was playing with when he's in the
in the first movie.
You know, in the first movie. It's that style. I loved the Jawa interactions. I loved what they're doing with the Inquisitors. Riva is fucking
so yeah. So I feel I like her. I do, but I feel like if I was her personally, I think some of her lines earlier on, if I was her, I would be like, can we do that again? Like I just felt like she was saying it almost like it wasn't serious or grave enough. I feel like she's still her lane.
I think, and I haven't, you know what, I've got to look her up to say this before I say this next thing. If anybody else has something to say about her.
Towards the end, she was like, I felt like towards the end of the second episode, I felt like, okay, she's finding it now.
So no, I was going to concur with you that Riva felt very forced.
Yes.
Like somebody's in her ear telling her what to say, and then she just like says it.
Yeah.
But towards the end of episode 2,
you're starting
100% agree.
Natural.
Well, who directed episodes 1 and 2?
Something Chow, Deborah Chow, I think her name.
I'm about to look at it right now.
Oh, is it Deborah Chow? I know that name.
I think so.
She did both.
I will tell you.
Okay.
Deborah Chow.
So far,
so if I was her, I'd be like, "Can we do that again, please? Like, why'd you leave that in? Because you're a new actor. You can't tell us what to do. Fine.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
But I do think it might have been on purpose a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Clearly, the arc of that character in the Inquisitor Brotherhood, she's been climbing the ranks. So I almost felt like she was the episodes were trying to show us how she got from here to here, but doing it in 2 steps to get there. It felt forced. I agree with you. What I really don't like, speaking of Riva, is some of the things I'm reading online. Have you guys read anything online?
No, I'm looking at the actress right now, Moses Ingram, because I had a theory that did not pan out at all. I honestly thought some of that kind of stilted dialogue from her was because she was fighting an accent from somewhere. But she was born in Baltimore in 1993. She got a master's from Yale drama after attending Baltimore City Community College. Mother 6. Yeah, this is great. Anyway, my theory on that one didn't pan out at fucking all.
Well, the talk online people are saying right now is that they are afraid that somehow the series will she'll
become the main character.
No.
Okay.
Her drive to find Ben for Anakin is because she's Mace Windu's daughter. There's a thread on all of the social media.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
You're right, because he shouldn't have. I mean, if he was a Master Jedi, he should have no daughter.
No, it's not Mace Windu's daughter. I would be willing to bet, and this is I think the biggest like hint as to who some of these people are. It was kind of like one of those passing moments when somebody's like, who are those people? Those are the Inquisitors. They hunt Jedi. Some of them used to be Jedi that turned to the dark side.
Yes.
I think she was one of these younglings in the beginning.
I do too.
Exactly.
But no, actually,
a youngling.
No. I thought that at first, and then I did the math on it. There's no way, because she would only
be
a
young
like
Jedi, or just a young Jedi.
And exactly. And she felt abandoned by the Jedi, maybe. I don't know, or she like whatever.
It would make more sense.
Anakin actually like kind of turned her. Like he's like, no, Obi-Wan's full of shit. The Jedi Order's full of shit. All that shit. Look what he did to me.
Well, she must have she must have had interaction with Obi-Wan before everything fell, because she has a certain level of hatred for him that you wouldn't have. So there's only 2 reasons. Either one, she needs in a big bad way. She needs Darth Vader's
Approval.
That's what it
approval,
is. That's
or
She's
she has a personal hatred for him.
No, so I thought at first they were going to somehow play into a personal hatred angle, and it looks like they are going squarely so far with very much I am currying favor for this. I mean, she's straight. She kills the head Inquisitor.
Yes.
At the end of the second one.
Because she's like, you're not taking fucking credit for this.
Yeah, like straight up, like labors the shit out of him. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, I don't want to say I didn't see it coming, but it still was a little surprising when she did it so early on. I thought they would have kept that character around for a couple more episodes, which was kind of cool. Which was actually though kind of cool because I'm like, oh well.
I think the action in the show is really good
me.
too. I love seeing yellow bolts.
Well, and you kind of need that Game of Thrones feel that like you know,
not
everybody here is going to make it to the end.
Correct.
The only two people that you know make it to the end are Vader and Obi-Wan. Like and the kids.
Yeah.
But like there's not much reason that everybody else has to make it.
Correct.
There's no reason.
Oh, and Chewbacca technically, and C-3PO and R2-D2.
So was it me or was the little kind of green thing that she was wearing kind of reminiscent of what she wore on Endor in Return of the Jedi? Maybe I'm reaching, but for me,
no, you're not reaching. I agree.
Yeah,
I think that was on purpose.
It's
very much so.
It's probably to put the idea in your head of like just to compare the two.
Yeah.
And I loved how he's like, you're stubborn. I'm not stubborn, because he was like, you're mine with someone. That was great.
Well, somebody posted a meme too of how both Anakin and Leia looked at Obi-Wan Kenobi, and both of them said, "Oh, you're a Jedi?" ? Like,
yeah,
they both have like the same line the first time they like really have a chance to interact with him. Because like her first interaction with him is like, "Get the fuck away from me! What the hell are you doing in a cell?"
Well, she was a little gangster, laying in wait.
Somebody. She's dope.
Fuck yeah,
she's a little badass. And but the cool thing is, like, you never really think about it, but when you think about the original series, like, she knows to reach out to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Correct.
And that's because he has met him. Correct. Like they have a history, and she knows that, like,
it's part of the family, man.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a cool.
It wasn't just
cool
like her
bit.
dad left a sticky note.
Yeah. If
like,
shit goes bad, call Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, like
it marries everything together.
Yeah,
it really does.
What I love, as well, is just the despair. Like, even the fact that you really stink, dude. Like, I'm very like sensitive to fucking bodily odor. So if you stink, you're probably in a bad place, right? So you like, this is how far the Jedi have fallen. Like, to the point where you're not even sure you can do your shit anymore. Like, so like when she like, whatever, I can spoil. When she falls and he actually catches her, like, that was legitimately the first time he's probably done it in like 10 years. So it's like, I love that character development, man.
He in the same way, I think he cut himself off from the Force more than Luke did, and I think he has been so clouded with emotion over Anakin that his relationship with the Force is fucked up. Because let's look. I mean, he's done a couple of things, but let's be real. There's some sort of weird manta ray thing in the desert, and they're carving off chunks of this meat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're processing it. Like, it's this whole it's very interesting. And he's got this cheap job so he can, keep a watch over Luke. It's great. I like the way they've done that. He's not been the hermit yet. I'm interested to see how they're going to address the Tatooine thing, because now there's people that know that he was on Tatooine, right? So going forward in the future, Vader, unless Obi-Wan is presumed dead and escapes somehow at the end. Like, I'm already looking for by the end of this one, and Vader has no reason to go back, obviously, and look on Tatooine.
Well, we don't know that Vader right now knows that they were capturing him on Tatooine.
Not yet. But
there's a plan that Reva contrived all by herself.
But can I say something?
But also, like, there's still no indication that he came from Tatooine to find.
Yeah, Kevin, exactly correct. Because they stole her from Andor. He could have been on Andor watching her.
Correct.
No, from Alderaan,
which is
Alderaan.
actually sad. So I'm like looking at everything, going, "Wow,
right? How pretty
all
that
blown to bits."
I know. You're like, fuck, they blew up Lake Tahoe. Like, what the fuck?
Dicks.
Yo.
Yeah, you're right.
How did nobody say flee? Like when I first, when I, in the forest, I'm like, is that fucking Flea? Like,
yeah,
like, that's so crazy.
And he was great.
Yeah. He did a good job. He did a good job.
So, and I love. So, do you guys watch? My youngest has gotten me into watching TV with subtitles.
Good.
So,
no, that shit.
This is the interesting thing about it. C-3PO is one of the protocol droids.
Yep.
In the thing. Party. Yep. And the only reason I know that is because if you watch subtitles, it gives you the name of the character that speaks before they speak most of the time. And it says C-3PO.
Yeah, you see him in the background and like,
yeah,
it's tricky because right after that, another protocol droid walks up and it's a little more silver and then it has
and it's a different
voice and a different dialogue. Yeah.
And it's and then Obi-Wan, like I've been trying to figure this out, and thankfully I've got some fellow Star Wars enthusiasts to talk about this one with, because so at this point R2-D2, because remember that thing keeps popping up out of the ground when Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan I don't remember this from the prequels. Did R2 leave with Obi-Wan? Is that where he is right now, or is he with
3PO
Leia? And
no, he's with R2. No, he's with Ben.
Cool.
I don't know, because like at the same time I thought that looked a little more red than blue.
No, that's R2-D2. I'd bet good money on that's R2-D2. He would have taken Anakin's droid.
So my favorite moment is definitely, for me, I mean, you expect it, but I think when, and I hope it doesn't ruin it for you, Kevin, but like when legitimately it's like, oh, by the way, Anakin's still alive, and like just seeing
like
Ben's reaction to that actually kind of gave me chills too. Like, what a mind fuck. Like, you're like, fuck. Like, I love
that was a total loop.
No. As of right now, this is according to Wikipedia, at least at the end of Revenge of the Sith, both R2-D2 and C-3PO end up in possession of Captain Ramus Antilles on board the Tantive 4, which is Princess Leia's later her cruiser. And Ramus Antilles, I believe, is probably, I'm going to look him up, he's some sort of relation to Wedge Antilles.
I would imagine.
But I mean that makes sense. I mean,
that's still R2.
If Anakin was going to keep any one of his droids anyways, it would actually be 3PO because he built 3PO.
Yeah, no, and they stay, and that was the thing, and that's the dude that Vader strangles right there. So they actually stay aboard that ship and working for Leia the entire time.
That's right.
Trip out. Okay, I just like to know where the droids are at all times. Which, if you have a moment, Droids, the shitty ass show, is available on Disney Plus.
It's a lot more fun is the 30-second droid shorts on Disney Plus.
Yes,
those
the
are
Lego ones, or just the little droids ones. Yeah.
I will say, just to bookend Obi-Wan, I loved it. I thought it was shot in a real. I felt like it was real life. It was gritty.
Not.
It was dark. It was true. I think Joel did a great job.
As Owen
Lars.
Oh yeah, Lars. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, he was.
I
fantastic.
fucking love that line. Like, it's a fucked up line, but I love that line. About you did such a great job with his father.
Oh yeah, exactly,
dude.
Yeah,
kick him in the dick, why don't you?
Exactly. I remember watching that and saying that when
it was in the trailers. Like, I knew it was coming, but I was just like, "Fuck, that's cold, man." Like, that's messed up.
It's going to be a good series. I'm super excited for it.
I did like also how they've aged Jimmy Smits. Like, they've let him in age appropriate. It's 10 years. I mean, obviously it's much longer than it's been, but they let him age. They didn't try and de-age him at all. They let him be what it was, which is what he should be. It was fun.
it's funny too, because people are out there complaining about like, oh, this guy's supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi when the series starts and he looks so much younger. He is actually literally
The same age.
9 years from
Amazing.
the
Alec
same
Guinness.
age as Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
So like he's actually at the exact right age for the timeline of the story for him to be the same age as Alec Guinness. So
Yeah, it's completely perfect.
yeah, it's great and it's cool. But it's interesting the way that they've been making the Disney Plus shows is they're not on a traditional soundstage. They're using that big funky soundstage that they have that's like a 3-dimensional video stage. And I don't know if you've watched like the making of The Mandalorian or any of those, but you should
Not
go
yet.
check that out because what they are using to film their shows is the most ridiculously amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. It's literally like a wraparound 3D like TV. It's insane. Like
Cool.
I don't even understand how it works, and it fucking obviously works.
Okay, I will definitely
Yeah,
go and
go,
watch that.
go watch those and see what they're doing with that because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, just overall with Kenobi, I am completely satisfied
Oh,
so far.
I'm 100% until the end.
Definitely worth the hype. I think, I know there were lots of complaints amongst fans about the Book of Boba Fett, especially because it was like
It was a
half
little-
the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Really, I think that worked though. I think Book of Boba Fett was a little bit of a cash grab in some ways. I think the Mandalorian did much better than they thought it was going to. Like, I think they knew they had a hit, but like it was embraced and fucking loved. Like, people loved Baby Yoda. They loved
It was the
Mandalorian.
reason people had Disney Plus. I
It's
feel
true.
like they needed something.
Exactly.
But I
to
think
stop
too,
cancellation.
like Mandalorian had a genre that it was tucking itself into and doing
Yes.
something special with. It was a Western.
Yes.
And they were doing something interesting. Like Boba Fett kind of wasn't. It was just
No,
like
exactly.
this funky story about a guy that
still
should have
haven't seen
died
it.
in that fucking Sarlacc pit.
Honestly, you should watch it.
No, I will
It's-
watch it now.
Yeah,
I just haven't
it's
had
worth a
the-
watch.
They were
Like,
because
it's
there
not
are
bad.
there are some really cool moments. Like, I absolutely, like, spoiler here. I actually love all his stuff with the Tusken Raiders. There were some
Mhm.
things that were a little goofy, but that whole thing and that glimpse in the Tusken Raider society, because all we know, is that they fucking walk fucking in single file to hide their numbers, and they'll take human slaves, and they live out in the fucking desert, and they're that whole fucking elephant seal thing or whatever it is they do. And when you go inside that was such a cool, I don't want to say for true Star Wars fans, but if you love the whole Star Wars universe
I will.
itself,
I'll watch.
it's just a really good,
I know Luke
fun
shows
watch.
up and he asks, like, little Baby Yoda. Can't we call him Baby Yoda, Grogu? Like, okay, so do you want to go Jedi? You want to go Mando? And I mean, I know it's all there, so like, I need to watch it, and I will. But I just didn't feel the sense of urgency.
Now, that to me also, though, and this is one thing that I did love, that was such a beautiful homage to the way Lucas built those original films based on some of the fucking Akira Kurosawa stuff, like Seven Samurai and that kind of thing, with that, because that was straight up Lone Wolf and Cub. Like, that was Jon Favreau said, and Dave Filoni said, what do we have that's that like influence? Because he had that from film school, where these Akira Kurosawa films. Well, they watched Lone Wolf and Cub, and do you know what Lone Wolf and Cub is?
No.
Okay, you can watch it on HBO Max. Lone Wolf and Cub is one of these savage dude. Samurai gets fucking his wife gets killed by the daimyo. There's all sorts of treachery. They've got this little kid, right? He takes a sword and he takes a ball, and he puts him down in front of the kid, and he makes the kid choose. If you're going to go with the ball, you're going to go with your mother, who's murdered, and he was presumably going to kill his kid. Or if you crawl to the sword, you're going to follow me and do, walk the way of the samurai. The kid goes to the sword, and now it's the fucking Lone Wolf and Cub is basically this samurai, this Yojimbo, roaming around the countryside with his fucking kid strapped to his back, slashing motherfuckers' throats. It's fucking awesome. It's so fun. Like, he uses the kid in one of the final battles by putting a mirror on his head, so that as he's like, they're like doing one of those like Naruto run fucking like samurai battles towards each other, and he fucking like pops his shoulder, and the mirror on the kid's head bounces down, and the light reflects off the mirror and blinds his opponent, and he fucking like lops the dude's head off. It's fucking savage. I fucking love it. It's like that almost chopsaki, but they're such amazingly fun fucking films. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's just a total homage to that, and so yeah, see that. So Kenobi, we all loved it.
Yes.
That's not all that happened. And that's not all that happened in Star Wars this weekend.
No,
or recently.
So transitioning into our weekend update segment, our news. This week, Star Wars Celebration landed to much fanfare in my house. My youngest is the biggest Star Wars fan I know, knows everything about Star Wars far more than I do. Couldn't wait to get home and start streaming this shit as soon as he got home from school. Much to his disappointment, on the first day, they announced fucking Willow and Indiana Jones 5, which have absolutely nothing to do with Star Trek or Star Wars. Holy shit. They have nothing to do with it. And he was like, what is this bullshit? But a lot of cool stuff did come out of the Star Wars Celebration. And a lot of it actually came out yesterday, which is Friday, maybe more so than even Thursday. But there's a couple of big ones, a couple of the announcements that are, people have been expecting. Ahsoka's coming out next year, so that's coming. They're officially filming right now. Awesome. They were able to announce that they're filming. They're only 3 weeks into filming right now, I think they said. One side note that they put in is that apparently Filoni in every episode of The Mandalorian has hidden a Ahsoka figure in every single episode. So something to search for. Yeah, something to search for if you rewatch The Mandalorian. There's apparently an Ahsoka figure hidden in every single episode. Another big announcement and a really cool kind of trailer that came out of it, Star Wars Celebration, was the announcement of Andor, which is coming this year, August 31st.
That looks fun.
If you haven't watched that trailer, and funny enough, it's the first of the Star Wars series that is not using that ridiculously awesome technology I was just telling you about. That
makes sense. That actually makes sense though, because I envision, especially from what they're showing us for the trailer, that's going to be a little more Rogue One feel. Like it's going to be Star Wars Commandos.
Sure. I think
basically.
I wasn't really particularly excited about the show. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that this was anything that I cared about. But man, that first teaser trailer looks really good. It looks really good. It's starting to rise up against the earliest iterations of what's going to become the Empire, right? Because this is right between Revenge of the Sith and Rogue One, so it's kind of a cool looking story. I'm excited to see it. There was a couple of big names that I can't remember off the top of my head that were in there. If you watched Killing Eve, her boss, Sandra Oh's boss, is going to be one of the main characters. Doesn't seem to be a villain. She looks like she's pretty much on the side of good. So that's coming out this year. Also coming out this year is the animated series of one-off shows, Tales of the Jedi.
Nice.
Which is going to be various ones. One cool one that they're going to do is they are going to do one where Liam Neeson is going to play Qui-Gon Jinn. Cool. And his real life son is going to play young Qui-Gon Jinn in that same episode. So there's some cool stuff. That's the only thing I've heard as far as the episodes go in that one. But it does sound pretty like it'll be pretty fun. If you liked what was the one that they did the anime one, or the different animated styles for Star Wars.
Was it Revelations or whatever?
No, but
it was awesome.
Like it was really cool. At least most of them were.
Some of them were. Yeah,
were a little questionable. We talked.
I think
about
we actually talked about this with
Then in February, Mandalorian season 3 is going to be dropping.
Yes.
So they're working on that, and it will be more of Mando and Grogu. So they announced that, which is, I'm almost disappointed that they announced that, because they did kind of leave Grogu's decision up in the air. Funny that you talked about Lone Wolf and Cub and him having to choose the ball, right? Because that's exactly what the position they put Grogu in at the end of
the stuff on Mando. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to pick. He's got to pick a side. So it sounds like he's going to go the Mando route and go kick some more ass.
But season 3, the thing is though, that's what happens after all this. The Book of Boba Fett at that point happens well after season 3 of the Mandalorian, because he has the Darksaber in that, and he does not have the Darksaber at the end of Mandalorian season 2. So the whole season
he gets the Darksaber at the end of Mandalorian season 2. He has the Darksaber. They have the whole conversation about it because what's her face wants the Darksaber, and he's like, fucking take it, and she said, oh, I can't.
Right.
Oh no, I remember that. What I'm saying is unless I'm just forgetting something like wrapping itself up, I thought the first time we saw the Blacksaber was when Moff Gideon used it. Unless I don't.
That's the end of season 1.
Oh, that's the end of season 1. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I got to go back and watch those.
Apparently,
man, I really dug that because I remember the end of season 2. No, that's the end of season 3 was Luke.
That's the end of season 2.
Oh yeah,
season 2 is Luke busting in, and
out.
when he comes in, he takes Grogu with him, which then leads into Boba Fett.
Right.
He's training Grogu.
But wait, when does he get the Blacksaber from Moff Gideon though?
Same episode.
In that same episode, they battle it out. He takes it from him.
That's right.
Episode.
Okay, that's right.
So, and it's the Darksaber.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch that. The Darksaber. Okay.
Yeah. And if you like, there's some really there's some really cool stuff about the history of the Darksaber in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Animated series
and Rebels.
Yeah. And so that's where we're at with that. So there's not a lot of details yet. I hope there's not really any more than that. That was already enough of a spoiler for me. I don't need to know any more. Then on my nerd side of the fence, they announced Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, which was a fucking fantastic video game, where the main character was one of the brothers from Shameless.
Okay.
The actor, I can't remember. It's like, I think Liam Gallagher or something Gallagher. Or no, the last name of the show is Gallagher.
I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember
the younger one who's got a really stupid look on his face, kind of a big nose, curly hair.
No. He's got reddish hair. But anyways, if you have a PlayStation 4 and you are a Star Wars fan, you should have played Jedi Fallen Order by now. It's an awesome game. The story is fantastic. It has the Inquisitors. It takes place after Order 66. The main character is a kid named Cal Kestis. As it turns out, he escaped from Order 66 alive. He's got some force powers. He's in hiding. He's working in construction. He's a teenage kid. And there's an accident, and one of his friends is about to fall, and he saves him with the force and pulls him back up. And then it's all about him kind of on the run and discovering his powers and all that. And it's a video game, right? So it's kind of got this power wheel, right? So you can kind of unlock the things that you want in order or whatever. But it's a really good story. You actually do get to fight Vader at one point, because of course Vader is hunting Jedis himself, right? Like he would very much like for all the Jedi to be dead. And so they are doing a sequel for that with the same character. The graphics for the game are amazing. This one that's coming out next year is only going to be for the next gen console, so it's going to look even better because it's only going to be on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever the hell, Series X or whatever it is. So I'm super excited for that. And then the last bit of really cool, really interesting Star Wars information that came out of Star Wars Celebration is the new series that will be coming out in 2023, directed by John Watts, who directed the 3 Spider-Man films. He is doing an 80s style adventure a la Stranger Things, Voyagers, which we talked about a week or two ago. films like that. And it's going to be led by Jude Law, which is interesting because it's a story about, coming of age teenage story starring Jude Law. So I would imagine that he is some sort of,
it could be a
linchpin to the
flashback kind of thing. He could be the narrator telling the story. But like, I don't know. I'd be very interesting to see. But right.
I think if you bring in Jude Law, you're going to have him on screen for a bit. I feel like he'll be more of a, I don't know, not a big brother character, but like
no, I think you're right, like a fatherly type thing. I think
something.
they're gonna bring him, or like a Fagin, depending on what they try to do with it,
that would work too. Yeah.
Depending on what it is they try to do with it, it could be, because we don't really have, from what I've seen, we don't really have a definitive look at what this is possibly going to be.
They've given nothing other than like literally what I just said.
That's what I'm saying. Like it could very well be, this could be a Star Wars crime story. This could be like,
I know that the idea is they're going to be essentially, not to steal a Spider-Man name, but they're going to be trapped far away from their homes. Like they're going to be trapped far away from home, and it's all about them trying to get back. And they haven't said who the kids are, what the ages of the kids are, or anything like that. The show is called Skeleton Crew, which is a very interesting name. It actually does kind of give that, crimey-wimey on the run kind of feel to it. So it'll be interesting. Like I'm really curious, really excited to see what it is, because at this point I wasn't super familiar with John Watts before Spider-Man.
Same.
Yeah, but I'm very familiar with him now because of Spider-Man.
I'm sold.
I'm super excited to see what he can do. And it seems like that would be right in his wheelhouse to tell that kind of story.
For sure.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool. And it's fun to see Jude Law just like fucking in every like fantasy world trilogy he can get into, or series he can get into.
And I gotta say something.
He's in Marvel, he's in Harry Potter, he's in,
and he was in AI. I feel like he did a great job playing that big brotherly character in AI. So like,
I love him in AI.
Great.
But he's gotta pay the alimony for banging the nanny now, so he has to do some cash films and some things he's gonna get some residuals and things he's gonna get a lot of money for.
He's making them
because he hasn't been in a shit ton of stuff over the last decade or so, I don't think.
So that is the news out of, was it Los Angeles, I guess, for the Star Wars celebration. And that brings us to the rest of the news for the week. And then the big news out of this week, unfortunately, was the passing of Ray Liotta. And that kind of hit hard. It just kind of came out of nowhere. He just, like, from what I saw, at least on the news, is he just died, like in his sleep. It didn't seem like it was an overdose. Didn't seem like it was anything. He was filming a movie down in Dominican Republic and passed away in the middle of the night, in his sleep. So hopefully it was peaceful, and all that. But we thought with the passing of Ray Liotta, we would take advantage of having a little bit of a platform and talk about, the career that he had, and talk about, some of our favorite films. And the one caveat that we had is that nobody's favorite film could be Goodfellas, because everybody's seen Goodfellas.
But we
at
can't
the same time we can,
Goodfellas.
we can talk about Goodfellas, and it's just, it gives us the opportunity to talk about other films other than Goodfellas.
Well, let's flip the idea. Yeah, I was going to say, let's flip the idea. Let's talk about all the other stuff first, and then we'll close with Goodfellas.
Yeah, I just because I don't want anybody to steal mine, and I'm leading into it, I'm gonna go first. My Ray Liotta film, and I started to watch it again the other night, and I fell asleep just because I was super tired. But I will finish it again. Is Identity?
Oh, so good.
Technically a John Cusack film, right? But man, he's
one of mine.
Like, yeah, Ray Liotta's fantastic in that. Great cast of characters. I do not think I've seen
that show.
You have not seen Identity?
I don't think I have. That's
then I will not say very much about it. It's on Netflix right now, so you don't have to pay for it.
John Cusack, Ray Liotta from 2003.
John Cusack, yes. Ray Liotta, what's her face?
Is this the one? Oh yeah, I
takes place in a hotel, in a motel.
Yeah. Amanda Peet, John Hawkes, Alfred Molina, Clea Duvall, John C. McGinley.
Yeah,
this
I will
cast is
not.
okay.
The cast is great.
Yeah,
the
don't say
acting is
anything else.
great.
Oh my God, Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah, it's a twisty turny
Okay,
plot
cool.
that you really need to sit down and watch, because it's not. I wouldn't say it's as brilliant of an ending as, say, a Usual Suspects, but it's a pretty fucking brilliant ending. Like
it's good.
Yeah.
It's similar.
Yeah.
It's synonymous.
Okay, do you
They're in
remember?
the same genre.
Did you guys see the General's Daughter?
Yes.
Was it on
don't
par
remember.
Was it on par with that level twist? Because that was a good one too. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
yes,
I'm
yes,
sorry. The Usual
yeah,
Suspects.
Yeah. No, I did see that one. Yeah.
You know, because Usual Suspects is right up there for like that crime kind of caper movie twist.
You know what? Which
with
one?
Fucking
the one I would actually
Night
compare
Shyamalan
it to
level,
even more
like-
is what's the is it the Travolta one where he's a soldier and it's all twisty and turny?
that's the General's Daughter.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's
Oh,
a different
no.
one.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
I mean, that is the genre.
I know because they both have they both have Army
maybe it's not
Rangers in them.
Travolta.
No, I know which one you're talking about. It's because Travolta.
I need to look it up because it's pissing me off. But
I know that's.
It's not the General's Daughter, but the General's Daughter does have a twist. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But while you're looking it up, the identity.
Yeah,
is
the
similar.
General's Daughter was Madeline Stowe and John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. This is when the daughter of a well-known and well-respected base commander.
But
okay, yeah. Okay, so
cannot,
no, I'm thinking you're thinking General. I'm thinking General's Daughter.
Basic.
And it's not General's
Basic
Daughter.
is what I'm
Basic.
thinking of.
That's actually the one I'm thinking of. I'm agreeing with you. I was misconstruing General's Daughter. It's Basic with Connie. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, I would say there are similar twists and turns, just like there is in Usual Suspects also. But there's some really excellent twists and turns in Identity, and it's just good, dude. It's a good cast. It's a fun movie. It's dark. It's very, almost noirish in the feel and the tone of the film. I
felt like I didn't watch it because for some reason I almost got like a Supernatural vibe from it, or I could just be mixing up another John Cusack motel trailer that I saw.
1408.
That's the one.
1408 is very different. Yeah, that's newer also, I think. Stephen King.
You got me sold on the cast, bro.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's quick too. It's only 90 minutes, so
nice.
It's a
gotta be
quick
taught
watch.
That way. That's cool.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, so go check it out. And with that, I will pass the torch to, let's go to Andrew because he seems very excited about Ray Liotta films.
So muted. Unfortunately,
you've never heard of Ray Liotta.
No, I've heard Ray Liotta, but yes, I'm literally on his like Wikipedia page, and he has a shit ton of movies, but I've only seen like two. One of them is Goodfellas. The other one I saw probably in like 1994, so I don't remember any of it. But I remember thinking back then, like he looks kind of like William Shatner, but that was totally wrong. Anyway, this movie I saw was called Unlawful Entry, and apparently he plays this like corrupt cop.
I've seen that,
and he was actually it's got Kurt Russell in it.
Yep.
And Kurt Russell and Madeline Stowe again. But he won. He was nominated for an MTV Movie Award for Best Villain. So
shit.
This is back in '93. So anyway, I'm completely useless for this discussion. So I'm glad, Kevin, that you passed the baton to me, knowing that I was looking completely disengaged.
Bumfuzzled. Oh my god.
I might even like turn off my camera until you guys are done.
Christ.
I don't know.
Just
so not paying attention.
Yeah. Just go watch Identity. That's all I can tell you.
Okay. I got that down.
All right. I pass the baton to my bro in namesake, Andy.
So Identity is one of my faves. Actually, it's one of the ones that when I see it on, I'll sit there and watch it. It's worth watching. Another one. I mean, he was fun. Hannibal, like when his brains get eaten.
That's on my list. He was fucking great, dude. Oh,
so great.
God.
Very, very good. And I will tell you, from a comedy perspective, and I'm looking to find the name of the movie so I get it right. The one with
Well, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to bring up the one that I love, which is Operation Dumbo Drop. Speaking of comedies with Danny Glover, he is fucking hilarious. The movie's not that good. It's a Disney movie.
Yeah, it's a fun kids movie. It's not great, but it's fun.
Dennis Leary's in it. Dougie Doug. Like there's a lot of fun shit that goes on in the movie, but it's about rescuing a fucking elephant.
Doug.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name in probably
since the Winter Olympics.
5 years.
Probably not since Operation Dumbo Drop came out.
No, you heard it during the Winter Olympics because everybody was talking about Cool Runnings. Because
yeah, I didn't watch Winter Olympics though. So like,
what is wrong with you? The Jamaican bobsled team actually qualified this year. I mean, they failed miserably, but because he's Sanka.
Anyhow, I haven't tried.
Sanka man, yeah, right.
No problem. All right, keep on.
I'm dead man.
All right, so I got it. So I got my 2 other movies. So Date Night, when he played the bad guy.
Yes.
For he was hilarious in that, and frankly, the movie that makes me cry every time I watch it, no matter how hard I try.
Anal Invaders 4.
No, I mean
Toy
that
Story
makes me
3.
cry, but for a way different reason. No, Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to dissent here. I will be honest with you. I love baseball. I love baseball movies. I didn't love Field of Dreams.
Then you don't love baseball. You can.
It's a great movie. I get why people like it. I'm sorry. It was it was kind of long and plodding. Sorry to me.
Nope.
I will. Ray Liotta was great.
Over you.
No, Ray Liotta was great as Shoeless Joe.
That's how bad you can't talk about this. No.
You had Ray Liotta, Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones. Come on, dude.
Yeah, it was good. So I just don't love it as much as everybody else does. Another one of those for me that's like that is fucking Rudy. Like, it was great. I liked Rudy. It was a good movie.
Get out.
I'm sorry. I liked Hoosiers more than Rudy.
Wrong.
I can't.
I picked. You can see on the video. I picked up my phone because this is how serious I am. Pete, Rudy and Field of Dreams are movies that our kids should have to watch as prescribed material. And how to be good people and have good character, and how to no, you are wrong. You are absolutely. I will drive to your house and beat you up out front. You are wrong.
Why are you holding your phone in front of your face?
This is how serious I am right now.
Okay, but your video's not on your phone, so all we're seeing is your face, but like half covered with the phone. So you're like talking at a blank phone for some reason. I'm not understanding.
No, I can see.
Do not want to see us.
It's kind of like when what's his name, Clint Eastwood was talking to the chair, like at that convention. Like, I'm so serious, I'm gonna talk to the fucking chair. Like, sorry, there we go.
That's that. Now I get it. Okay,
there it is,
dude. Bring your phone up though, bro. Get the flattering angle. Come on. You've seen your girls do it, dude. You got to do it from this angle. It's got to be from this. Even shiny headed, bro. See?
There you go.
Oh.
Okay,
that's perfect.
All right, there we go. I love that.
That's perfect. What I really like is the picture.
Playing phenomenal on the audio.
The other picture looked absolutely ridiculous, so that really helped. That really
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Good Lord. Yeah. No, I liked both of those movies. I just don't hold them in the reverence that a lot of people do. Like I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm not out here saying Field of Dreams is like
name a better heartfelt baseball movie.
Yeah, come on, Kevin. Without Kevin Costner, because there's several.
I will give you a League of Their Own
that are heartfelt.
But other than that, give me a heartfelt baseball movie that's better than.
I'm sorry, and maybe it's just because it means more. Okay, look, my dad played baseball with me and threw a ball around me, so that shit didn't touch me the same way in that time period. I don't know why, but I loved Kevin Costner for me. For Love of the Game, I think is actually one of his best baseball movies fucking ever. It's right up there with Bull Durham for me. I think it's a really sweet movie. It is a rom-com on some level, but it is also a great baseball movie, and they fucking have
Bull Durham was more
of
a rom-com.
Yeah, Bull Durham was definitely a rom-com. Sure.
Completely.
Like that was a comedy, completely different. I like that we're not talking about Ray Liotta right now, though. That's really cool. Rest in peace, buddy.
Didn't Kevin Costner die? God damn it!
Yeah, fucking, I hope not. I got a whole nother season of Yellowstone to go. But Yeah, no, I don't understand. I don't understand you at all, and I hate your face. Field of Dreams is like I said, I will give you maybe A League of Their Own, but otherwise, one of the best sentimental baseball movies there is. Unless you want to watch The Natural.
Yeah, next to
You
The
know?
Natural. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah.
Next to The
I
Natural.
don't like The Natural that much either.
You're an
Oh,
idiot.
get the fuck out.
I loved Major League.
Well, everybody loved Major League, but that is not a dramatic movie at all.
Everybody who's watching this right now, unfollow Pete. If you're following Pete, just tell him to fuck off. He doesn't like The Natural.
I didn't say I didn't like them. I just, again, I don't like it that much. Like, it's not, they're great movies. I'm not saying they're not. Robert Redford's amazing in that fucking movie. I love it when he hits the ball, it fucking smashes the light. It's fucking filmed beautifully. Those three movies don't give me the fucking sports hard on that they give everybody else. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that the program does, but that movie, I am infinitely more entertained on some level by the program because it's just kind of a little more visceral for me, which is what I like out of sports movies, than Field of Dreams. It's a fucking father and son bonding movie.
I'm leaving.
I feel like this is that meme where they say, "I'm leaving because she said she didn't love me anymore," and then she says, "That's not what I said," and then he says, She said she didn't like Field of Dreams." It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's the same thing, Pete. I'm not going to jerk you off anymore this month. Thank God the month ends on Tuesday.
Fucking Looney Tune.
Anyways, poor Ray Liotta.
I think Ray Liotta was at his best when he was doing smaller comedic roles like that. Like, here's a movie that I'm probably the only one that has seen, except possibly Andy down there. He was actually kind of fun, as well as the motorcycle gang leader in Wild Hogs.
The Wild Hogs, yeah.
He was great. He was great.
Wild Hogs.
Totally agree.
That movie is kind of like, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of a fun movie. They put a good cast together. They put a decent amount of jokes together. Again, it's like a 90-minute comedy. John Travolta is good in it. Tim Allen is very good in it. It's a little bit different for Tim Allen, the role he plays, because he's a little more submissive, and he lets John Travolta take the lead. Who is it? No, I don't. I'm not gonna fucking do that, because then it's gonna sound like I'm.
Instead, you're gonna take 45 minutes to look it up.
No, it's Martin Lawrence. Is fucking hilarious in it. I love these guys going through a midlife crisis. Ray Liotta as this this motorcycle gang leader is just hilarious, because it's a very different kind of role for him, comedy wise. It's a little broader. Another one he did that's great, though, again with these small roles that he brought this beautiful life to, was as George's dad in Blow. Like you've never seen Blow, Andrew?
I haven't seen Blow.
No.
Oh my God, you guys haven't seen Blow? And I'm not saying let's not hard. Blow is really, really good. That's a phenomenal movie. Johnny Depp is fucking so good in that movie. Penelope Cruz is so fucking good in that movie. Rachel Griffiths as his mother is so fucking good in that movie. It's also a phenomenal story. It's based on a completely true story. The dude gets out of jail very soon. It's you should see it. It's totally worth the watch. And it also has there are two songs that make white people walk like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, and that is, of course, Staying Alive with that beat, and then also Black Betty by Ram Jam. And that is from the one scene in Blow where he is walking through the airport. And if you just Google Blow Black Betty and just watch that one segment, it's going to make you want to watch the movie because of the way he's walking. It is such a phenomenally shot fucking film. And Ray Liotta, like I said, shines, even though it's a very small role, as his dad, because you really do get the feeling of his dad. His son has been busted for trafficking narcotics. He's jumped bail. But he also knows that he was trying to be with his wife before she died of cancer, and his mother turns him in. And then later when he has this crazy life, he knows what it is, but he's just like, my son is making a decision. It's just this father's love for his son this way is really cool. Not unlike, all the father-son crap that goes on in Field of Dreams.
There's no crap in Field of Dreams.
Who else? He was the kind of dickish fucking detective officer guy in John Q. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fine.
I was but I think Ray Liotta, obviously we're going to talk about it in a minute here. Ray Liotta is best known for Goodfellas, and we all know that, but I don't think I think Goodfellas in a lot of ways really kind of pigeonholed Ray Liotta. And if you look at the films he did, the smaller stuff that he did throughout the years that weren't kind of like bigger films, it was very much the same kind of characters. He was some sort of broken down fucking detective guy, or he was, some sort of mobster kind of guy.
Well, he had a very mobster face, that didn't,
completely. It's like all those guys that are in The Sopranos will never play anything but fucking mobsters and anything. You think Big Pussy is out there getting roles as the fucking security guard? No, they're like, no, we need a fucking Joey Bombazano.
We need a very Italian looking Jersey-ish mobster.
Can you find a Goomba for me? I just think this is a massive loss to the fucking acting world. And unless anybody's got anything else that they really want to bring up about Ray's career that stuck out to them, or
not as far as like what I saw, but it was really interesting to see like the outpouring from the people that worked with him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love coming out of there. What's her name from The Sopranos?
Edie Falco?
No, the other one.
Jamie Lynn Sigler.
No, the one that played the therapist.
Lorraine
Bracco. Yeah, she absolutely loved him. She said that even to this day, and it's been so long since they worked together, that anytime anybody would come up to her and ask her what her favorite part of her career was, it was working with Ray Liotta. And like everybody said, he was a really like a giving actor. Like he was really easy to work with, and so yeah, it is a loss. You look at his filmography, and maybe it doesn't reflect something like we said earlier, where it's like a Tom Cruise, where the guy's done 750 movies and they've all been big hits and he's been the number one star. But there's still a lot of legacy that Ray Liotta left behind.
And the reality is, the man was the lead actor in arguably one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean,
Field of Dreams.
Identity.
Goodfellas is I love The Godfather. Amazing movie. It's fucking brilliant. It is a masterclass in filmmaking. But for me, for gangster stories and for the film, the way it's put together and the acting, Goodfellas is my absolute favorite fucking mob movie of all time. There isn't a single role. That movie is so well fucking acted. Like everybody looks at the everything that goes on around it, the story itself, all the crazy shit that happens, the crazy lines. Like you were just talking about Lorraine Bracco, dude, the fight between the two of them, and when she's got the gun, and then when he's breaking down about stashing the coke, Karen, they wouldn't have found it, Karen. Like just all of that shit between the two of them. It's so amazing because they feel like real people, and and it's shot like they're real people. It's not, you don't get this, there's no music during that. Like it's actually all incredibly quiet except just the two of them. There's almost no other sound. Like it's just really, really well done. But anybody please chime in at this point, because I'll talk about Goodfellas in just a masturbatory fashion for however long you want.
Yeah, for me, it's honestly been too long. I haven't watched Goodfellas in a long time. Like I need to do a Goodfellas rewatch. I don't remember enough of the movie other than the performances, right? Like I know that it's a phenomenal movie. I just don't remember most of it at this point.
Oh, see, I've
I
seen that
probably
movie
watch-
so many goddamn
yeah.
times. I legit watch it almost once a month, at least once every 2 months. No bullshit. I fucking, that movie
Me
is like
too.
part of the tapestry of my youth and just like filmmaking, and the fact that like my grandmother and grandfather's funerals both look like open casting calls for the fucking Goodfellas or The Sopranos, which was fucking hilarious. Ugh. But yeah,
No, but I will concur. It's one of it deserves to be so many different top tens, if not overall top tens, but it's in a top 10 of so many different categories. It's such a good movie. It's so well acted. It's so well directed. It's so well filmed. It is something that, I mean,
well, it's a game changer. You the fucking single shot walk through the fucking kitchen and the background. Forget what like what Favreau did on Swingers, because that was admitted like homage and fucking, you know, dick sucking there. Like that shot and that style has been used now so well by so many people, and that is just a brilliant bit of filmmaking, especially when you look at the camera technology they had at the time to walk that. When you look at the terrain they covered and how they did it, it's just a brilliant piece of filmmaking.
No,
you know, and I know everybody always talks about that one scene, but yeah, it's just so fucking good.
Name a bad scene. I mean, that movie from start to finish, front to back, top to bottom, left to right, there's not a flaw.
Nope.
There's just not. And we've seen, probably between the four of us, tens of thousands of movies. And there are maybe 10, maybe 15 that don't have a flaw. I mean, like Godfather doesn't have a flaw. Goodfellas doesn't have a flaw. Like I have to take a couple of minutes to think about other movies that don't have a flaw.
Galaxy Quest.
Shut the fuck up.
I actually don't argue with that. I think
no, I'm serious. I'm not being bullshit. I'm being serious. That movie is fucking gold from beginning to end. There isn't a performance in that movie that isn't fucking amazing. It fucking even when you know that they had to cut out when Sigourney Weaver says fuck, and they dub over it, and you can read her lips, and that's in the final, product of the movie. It's still a perfect movie to me. That is a brilliant sci-fi genre film that just can't be ignored.
One thing I'll say is that I was thinking about like the fact that he was only 67. So then I was like, okay, how old is Joe Pesci? 79. Robert De Niro, 78. It's almost like, Ray Liotta in Goodfellas was the younger guy. It's crazy to me that he went first.
Listen, they're all gonna. I'm telling you, we're not the next 5 or 6 years are not gonna be good. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, a lot of you're totally right on that. A lot of these guys, like the Pacinos, the De Niros, I want you to think about the work, how much their work has slowed down, and the kind of things that they're doing. Pacino's like still, doing.
I mean, they
like
started
Richard
Black
III and shit. Like, I mean, it's. It's rough knowing that's coming for a lot of these guys. I don't want to say.
Last side note I'll say for that though is like I know that when Patrick Stewart goes, it's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna hurt.
That's gonna.
That should be 2 episodes.
Well, Patrick Stewart, that's gonna, when he dies, that's going to completely bridge all sorts of nerddom in there, because you've got X-Men fans, you've got Star Trek fans, you've got Shakespeare fans. Like Patrick Stewart's breadth of work is
full fans. I mean, like you can just tell he's a good dude. And like I just it's gonna hurt. Like I for me when what's his name? I can't believe I said that. When Stan Lee died, I do remember actually like I shed tears. I did.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna shed tears when he goes. So yeah.
It's a real uplifting ending to this show. I think we ordered this perfectly.
Stop.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, let's just fucking.
I was just trying to add,
Yeah.
like,
It's really gonna
have
suck.
substance too.
Listener, what's really gonna suck is when your parents die. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be the worst.
It's
What
just
about when your kids die?
Well,
okay, fine.
I'll be
Then
dead
I'm
by
gonna
then.
say something else.
Jesus Christ!
guys
For
are
my
talking
next
about-
trick, I'm gonna light a trash can full of puppies on fire.
Flawless
God damn.
movies
As long as they're
is, for
chihuahuas.
me, Infinity War. For me, that's a flawless movie. For me, I'm not gonna call it a flawless movie for everyone, but for me, it's fucking flawless.
I can see that.
I agree. I'm with you, 100%.
I can see that. I don't love Infinity War as much. But I get your reasoning behind that, and knowing you, I get why you like that. But that again is
There's
a
no
Marvel.
slow parts. It's just literally from
It
start
is
to
just
finish.
go from beginning to end,
Boom,
and I
boom,
do
boom,
love
boom,
that.
boom.
Yeah. Wow.
No, Top Gun, Maverick.
So this wasn't without its problems, but it went off pretty well. It's a little like, the way we're doing here. We got some bugs to work out. Again, Andy, I will give you applause. That was a great segue. Everybody, good job in kind of steering it that direction and working with that. That was a nice little moment. I'm going to give you the MVP award for the night.
Participation trophy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because you are the MVP of the night, one new thing I thought that we're gonna do is the MVP. You have Kevin get the timer ready.
Oh shit!
Give me like
2 minutes.
4 minutes now. I gotta.
No, it's okay. He gets 2 minutes.
For what?
You have exactly 2 minutes that will be on timer to talk about absolutely anything you want.
Oh,
On your mark, get set, go.
I've been watching a lot.
Just fucking with you. We're not going to do that. Everybody, it's been great. Episode 101. A little bit of change, a little bit of fun. Have a good night. This has been great. Love y'all.
And now, Deep Thoughts by Andy.
The reality is, anybody. There's so many places and people.
Correct.
People.
Yes.
Frankly, even let's just talk about people. There's individuals that have enough wealth to do what that movie did, to have a secret base, to develop. Yeah, I mean we talk about the wealthiest people in the world, and those are the people who file taxes, right? And they are incredibly wealthy, and that's fantastic. But if you look at some of the sheiks and the princes in Saudi Arabia, they make Jeff Bezos look like he's, panning for gold, he's a poor person, right? So those kind of people, just individuals that could effectively do what this movie was doing, I think it's fair to say that Top Gun did it the right way. Don't name an enemy, because we don't have any idea who the enemy can be. And I'm guessing whatever that text was about. And that's Andy's Deep Thought tonight.